non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity.
Demons or fallen angels, something like that.
Fallen angels inside your home.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
How does it?
We're being visited by non-human intelligence with technology we really don't understand.
The Department of Energy has been involved in reverse engineering technologies recovered from UAP. For example, the Pentagon's proposed Kona Blue program aimed at reverse engineering.
Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving into some extraordinary claims about alien life right here on Earth. Retired Army Colonel Karl Nell, a key figure in the UAP disclosure movement, recently made headlines with his stunning revelations at the SALT conference. Let's explore what he had to say and what it means for all of us.
In the universe. Here's the million-dollar question. Do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
Right. So non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
So what just happened? Colonel Karl Nell is asked whether non-human intelligence, NHI, exists, and he gives a clear answer. Alex Klokas then asks Colonel Karl Nell again. See what happens?
And so, Karl, that is quite a bold statement. I'm wondering, and I'm curious, how confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
Nell, who has over 30 years of experience in organizational and technology leadership, made a bold statement. He has zero doubt that non-human intelligence has visited Earth. Let's take a moment to understand who Colonel Karl Nell is and why his insights are so significant. With over 25 years of experience, Nell has held top roles at Bell Labs, Lockheed Missiles and Space, and ENSCO Inc. Currently, he serves at Army Futures Command. He played a key role in a major Army reorganization, working on high-priority acquisitions and collaborating with DARPA and the NRO. His extensive background makes his revelations about UAPs particularly compelling. Alex Klokas asks Colonel Karl Nell, Karl, what evidence have you seen? What was the moment where you developed this level of conviction? See his answer.
Let's take a look at the data. So we can look at some folks that have very high-level access to information, like Paul Hellyer, who was the defense chief for Canada, has come out and said the same thing. We can look at Ham Eshed, the head of Israel's, or former head of Israel's Space Force, has said the same thing. Chris Mellon, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Intel, SAPCO, has essentially said the same thing. Lou Elizondo has said the same thing. David Grusch has said the same thing. David Grusch cleared for presidentially level material. So you're looking at people that are in a position to know this, and they're telling you the same thing.
Colonel Karl Nell's claims go beyond the U.S., citing similar statements from officials in Canada and Israel, suggesting a global phenomenon. His congressional testimony and public appearances have sparked widespread interest and calls for further investigation.
Demons or fallen angels, something like that.
Fallen angels inside your home.
Yeah.
Now, we're analyzing an intriguing video involving a possible alien sighting in Las Vegas. Let's dive in. News Nation's Alex Capariello reported from Las Vegas, noting that the Kenmore family witnessed 10-foot-tall creatures in their backyard 1 year ago. The sightings didn't stop there. They experienced other paranormal activities inside their house, such as a floating crucifix and turning Bible pages. These events have left the family and their neighbors deeply unsettled.
The story goes that just about a year ago, the Kenmore family saw these mysterious, unidentifiable creatures in their backyard right here behind me, right? They said that they were 10-foot-tall creatures, that they were standing there looking at them. They could see them breathing. Angel says that he was actually growling at him, freaking them out so much that they actually called 911. Well, it turns out that these unidentified, unexplainable phenomenon didn't just stop at that night. Angel went into great detail with me during our one-on-one conversation about other paranormal activity that's been happening, but this time inside of their house. It goes beyond just seeing shadows and hearing whispers. These are really freaky things that he told me during our exclusive conversation. Take a listen.
The interviewer asks him what exactly he saw. Let's hear what the young man has to say.
What exactly did you see?
Well, I was in another room. My brother called me, and there was a upside down cross, and there was a Jesus statue in it. They ripped Jesus out of it. They threw him like across the room, and it was floating upside down.
Are you saying
For
floating
example.
in the air?
Yeah, like in the air. It was floating upside down.
What did you do? I mean, did you go and pick it up? Did you knock it down? Like how?
No, I didn't do nothing. I was just sitting there. I was crazy. I was like, what?
But how did it come down? It's not still floating right now, is it?
No, it came down. So we got closer to it and then it dropped.
It fell to the ground. A crucifix
Yeah,
floating in the air, upside down. The Jesus on the crucifix had been ripped off,
yeah.
and it was floating.
Yep.
And you can say definitively, without lies, that that is what you saw.
Yes. Swear to God, that's what I saw.
The journalist is surprised and keeps asking. The boy stays calm and tells him the paranormal activity with the Bible.
A Bible just going like this, flipping the pages. But it was like steady, like it wasn't because of the air. It was steady, like somebody was holding it. As soon as I got close to it, it dropped again. It just dropped
This is
again.
inside your house, not outdoors. No,
No,
wind,
this is inside, yeah.
No wind factor, but the page is steadily turning on a Bible.
Yeah,
And you have the same justification for that as well, demonic
Yeah.
presence?
yeah, I can see the
These paranormal activities have been happening since the event in his backyard in April 2023. What happened on this day? The family called the police and claimed about a crashed UFO and tall, skinny alien creature with greenish color, about 8 to 10 feet tall, sneaking around their backyard. Veteran crime scene expert Scott Roeder analyzed the footage. His conclusion? The video is authentic, showing two creatures moving in the yard. Here is the video and the analysis.
I still don't have an explanation of what it is. You know, still pretty weird. And I have no clue what it is.
What did the priest say when they actually came to your house?
They're saying that it might be fallen angels, like demons or fallen angels, something like that.
Fallen angels inside your home.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
How does it make you feel about living here still?
But now I feel good, you know. Just a lot of time priests came over, but yeah, but you know, whatever happened on last year May, that was pretty scary, man. I was pretty traumatized and stuff like that.
What does that look like to you? You said you're traumatized. I don't want to make you relive it.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Pretty bad, man. You can't sleep, you know.
Roeder explains the motion of the creatures aligns with physical bodies, not just shadows. The incident, witnessed by multiple people across several states, continues to spark debate.
We can take a video and look at whether or not there is an artificial artifact added to it or not. And in this case, we can definitively say, to a degree of scientific certainty, that this entity, this thing in the video, is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical because you can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity, that the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine, that this shadow being, or this being in the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique, is not only cloaking itself from the people there, but cloaking itself from the camera itself, in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside of that shadow.
We're being visited by non-human intelligence with technology we really don't understand. And
In a groundbreaking interview, retired U.S. Navy Admiral Tim Gallaudet has claimed that advanced non-human intelligence has been visiting Earth for centuries. Gallaudet, who has had a distinguished career serving as an oceanographer with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, and as acting administrator of the Commerce Department's agency, shared his controversial views during an interview at the Seoul conference in November last year. Here is a short excerpt from the interview.
You think UFOs, UAPs, are the story of the century. Now, I happen to agree with you, but why do you say that?
Oh, absolutely. We're being visited by non-human intelligence with technology we really don't understand, and with intentions we don't understand at all either. And this is just one of those great big questions. Are we alone or not? And we're learning we're not.
Now, that really does surprise me to hear that from a former very high-ranking flag officer in the US Navy, to actually say you're stating categorically that you believe NHI, non-human intelligence, are real.
Absolutely, I do.
Why do you say that?
Well, for a number of reasons that have been coming out. Congress has been informed, and they've drafted legislation, and they've passed legislation, for example, to establish a DoD office to look at it. They did the same, NASA did the same with a UAP study team. And we know from the UAP hearing this summer that there are crash retrieval programs. And I have 100% confidence that the testimony by David Grusch and the other witnesses is accurate.
Gallaudet expressed his firm belief in the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, and the presence of non-human intelligence. He emphasized that these phenomena represent the story of the century, highlighting that we are dealing with technology and intentions that remain unknown. This assertion aligns with the increasing number of high-profile testimonials and declassified documents pointing towards the existence of UAPs.
I don't understand why more people are not interested in this. I mystify the lack of intellectual curiosity.
You know, the moment for me was the Schumer Amendment, when the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, put into proposed legislation language referring to non-human intelligence over 20 times.
Exactly. That's the statement. And Congress doesn't act at that level without information.
Former Admiral pointed out that Congress has been briefed on these matters and has taken legislative steps to investigate UAPs further. Both the Department of Defense and NASA have established teams to study these phenomena. Gallaudet expressed strong confidence in the testimonies of individuals like David Grusch, a former Pentagon intelligence officer who have come forward to speak about crash retrieval programs and other related activities.
Clearly, you believe there's a cover-up.
Yes.
Why are they covering it up? I mean, you're probably one of the more highly cleared public officials from the military, past serving, who's basically come out publicly and said, you think this is real. Why do you think there is this cover-up? What are they concealing?
Well, sure. This is technology we're still trying to learn about, and it could give us an advantage in any military conflict. And so that's a good reason to not disclose the nature of the technology. And I think for the foreseeable future, we don't want to release and disclose all of the technology that we've recovered. However, I think it's about time that we do disclose that we are in contact with non-human intelligence. That's what needs to be put out there in the public.
You very prominently sat right behind Ryan Graves in the House Oversight hearing earlier this year. You made a point of being seen to support Ryan Graves, the former fighter pilot, David Fravor, the former fighter pilot, and David Grusch, the former Pentagon intelligence officer for the NGIA. Why did you take such a public position?
Right. Well, all those officers are speaking out about the phenomena and the need to study it scientifically more and take policy measures. For example, Ryan stood up a nonprofit called the Americans for Safe Aerospace with a very worthy mission to release more information and get pilots to start reporting and really understand the nature of UAP for aerospace safety. That's a very worthy cause. Now, one of my jobs in the Navy, I was the chief meteorologist of the Navy at the time when Ryan was encountering the UAP off the U.S. East Coast. And when I saw that these were occurring, and I think people know that I received a secret email with the Go Fast video attached to it from my boss's operations officer, where I learned now that these were happening and occurring in training airspace and causing near midair collisions. So that safety issue is important, and I couldn't believe, well, I understood why, but the Navy didn't do anything about that, and then they actually pulled back that email from my computer on the secret network because of the classification issues that we were just talking about.
Gallaudet suggested that the primary reason for the government's secrecy could be the strategic advantage offered by the recovered technology. By keeping such information classified, the U.S. could potentially maintain a military edge over other nations. However, he believes it is time to disclose the existence of non-human intelligence to the public, despite the potential vulnerabilities and uncertainties this might reveal about our understanding of their intentions and capabilities.
Has to be the White House issuing policy. And right now, it's not coming from Kirkpatrick, it's coming from the White House, because the DoD, the Secretary of Defense, doesn't do anything that is counter to the White House policy. And they've obviously, to me, have decided on a policy of non-disclosure.
Can I ask you this? I can understand why it might be decided by very senior people in the Defense Department that we shouldn't reveal technology because it's a weapon, a potential weapon. It's a potential advantage in a future war. You can understand that, can't you?
Absolutely. I think some of the technology should remain classified. We don't want it to get in the hands of our adversaries. However, the fact that we're being visited by non-human intelligence, that is what I think needs to be disclosed. Now, granted, it's not an easy thing for a government to do, because then they're going to admit that they don't really know what they are or their intentions, and it makes us look vulnerable. True. But I think as a society, we're ready for this. We've turned that corner.
Tim Gallaudet's claims add significant weight to the ongoing debate about the existence of extraterrestrial life and UAPs. As more high-ranking officials come forward with similar testimonies, the push for governmental transparency and scientific inquiry into these phenomena continues to grow. Whether or not the general public is ready for such revelations remains to be seen, but the conversation is undoubtedly gaining momentum.
Department of Energy has been involved in reverse engineering technologies recovered from UAP.
Since the 1940s and 1950s, whistleblowers have consistently reported UFO sightings near nuclear sites. However, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm attributed these sightings to drones. During a heated House Oversight Committee hearing, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, RFLE, posed several rapid-fire questions to Granholm, including whether the DOE was involved in reverse engineering crashed alien technology and if it collaborated with a counter-terrorism task force. Granholm responded with, "I have no knowledge of that," to the first question and yes to the second.
Burchett asked you about some UAP stuff. You said that the DoD essentially had denied any existence of that, and you referred to them as drones, correct?
It's my understanding that the Department of Defense has looked at this and issued a report about it.
I have a lot of questions, so just quick and concise if possible. There have been persistent claims and reports, including those from credible whistleblowers to this committee, suggesting that the U.S. government, potentially including the Department of Energy, has been involved in reverse engineering technologies recovered from UAP. For example, the Pentagon's proposed Kona Blue program aimed at reverse engineering such technologies, although it was ultimately not established. Can you clarify whether the Department of Energy has been involved in any such efforts, or, either historically or currently, to analyze reverse engineering materials from related to UAPs?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay, there are several reports indicated frequent drone incursions over DOE nuclear facilities, including an incident on April 1st, 2021 at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, also known as LLNL. Can you detail the DOE's current security measures to prevent unauthorized drone activities or UAPs, and what steps are being taken to enhance these measures of frequencies of incidences?
Yeah, we have a whole counter drone effort to make sure that all of our national security sites and our labs are protected from incursions from drones, I'll just say, that are not authorized. So there's a whole series of protocols, probably not ripe for discussion in this public setting.
Correct. So I reviewed some unclassified materials from around the 40s and 50s, and so they weren't just being reported as drones back then, and I encourage you to look over those materials because I think that you guys should be upgrading that program to cover down on UAPs. There have been documented sightings of metallic spheres over DOE facilities, if you want to call them drones in this instance, such as one report on April 30th, 2019 over LLNL. What investigations have been conducted in regards to these sightings, and what conclusions do you guys have about the nature and origins of these objects?
I'm happy to follow up with you on that.
Okay, we'll be submitting also too for public record some questions after this, if you could please answer those. Considering the DOE's involvement in nuclear and sensitive research facilities, how does the DOE coordinate with agencies like the Department of Defense and AARO to investigate UAP sightings?
We obviously are teamed with the Department of Defense because of our national security and nuclear mission.
Are you able to cite any specific investigations or shared data analysis efforts?
I don't have information on that.
Okay. As of right now, again, we'll be submitting some questions for you after this, but I hope that you guys can answer those in a timely fashion. And again, for those that might be tuning into this, I would encourage you to look at some of those unclassified materials, and we'll be happy to provide your office with that. I'll just follow up by one other question, I guess, to close it out. Does the DOE currently work with JSOC in order to handle security measures?
We work with all of the security entities around the federal government. We're part of an overall all-of-government effort on both cyber as well as national security.
Do you guys work with JSOC? Yes or no?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. I yield the rest of my time, Chairman.
JSOC, a military task force under the U.S. Special Operations Command, is responsible for planning and executing special operations missions. Whistleblowers, according to Corbell, have alleged that JSOC collaborated with the Department of Energy, DOE, to retrieve crashed alien crafts and reverse engineer their technology. Corbell told Fox News Digital, JSOC is likely heavily involved in the crash retrieval program under CIA authority, so DOE's admission of working with JSOC is significant. He added that Secretary Granholm was uncomfortable admitting this. Before the exchange between Reverend Anna Paulina Luna and Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, Reverend Tim Burchett questioned Granholm about suspicious occurrences of UFOs near nuclear facilities. The question seemed to catch Granholm by surprise. In response, Granholm referenced a Department of Defense conclusion that there is no evidence of UFOs or aliens. However, she noted there may be drones that may be nefarious, and assured that there are safety protocols and defenses in place.
Switch gears, what is the responsibility of the Federal Protective Services within the Nuclear Security Administration?
Are you talking about transporting fuels?
No, ma'am. I want you to speak, well, I was going to follow up with the numerous reports by the Federal Protective Services officers describing suspicious occurrences of UAPs over nuclear facilities.
Oh. Let me just say, the Defense Department has said there is no evidence of UFOs, et cetera, or aliens in the United States. However, at those sites, there may be drones that may be nefarious. And so we are definitely looking at that and making sure that our national security sites are protected. We have a whole program related to countering drones that may be coming from
well, this isn't about drones, and this is prior to drones even. What protocols does the Department of Energy have for reporting and responding to any UAP sightings near nuclear infrastructure? And people joke about this, but I get a lot of questions about this concerning this and about this hearing today from my constituents, so I would appreciate you answering that if there are any protocols.
Well, certainly there are protocols whenever we see anything unusual around our nuclear sites or our national security sites writ large.
Okay. We'll switch gears. The proper use of